Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel where today you join me out in the M2 competition, obviously my M2 competition. I want to sort of give it like a 3-month owner's review today. Short term, nothing wrong with it at all, just buy one. But no, obviously if you've watched the channel if you've been part of the channel for a few years now, you would have seen that 2 years ago that I drove one of these for the day from Inchcape, Chelmsford. BMW let me have their demo car for the day to take it out filming. I say the day, it was sort of more like 5 to 6 hours because it was winter hours, so you didn't get daylight until 9 o'clock and not the best conditions to film. But then also you've got the rush to sort of get a feel of a car in that short space of time where you can't really concentrate on it as well as trying to concentrate on the filming side of things. I mean, don't get me wrong, like straight away as soon as you get in it, you go, wow, this is like amazing. And then when I handed the keys back, I said, spec me one up. Obviously, I didn't go through with it, otherwise I would have had one a lot sooner. So obviously this one's my car. I've had it for 3 months, well, longer than 3 months now. And I feel like I could give it more justice in a video now. I've actually driven it for like a long term, rather than having it for a day and sort of rushing through things, trying to get the filming done. So since I picked the car back up in April, beginning of April this year, the car has been absolutely flawless. The S55 engine under the bonnet, 410 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque, with the Dct Gearbox, I can't think of a better combination of like drivetrain and transmission that I've driven so far, really. I think the M2 Comp is sort of a perfect all-round car. It's not the ideal daily car that most people would see it as, but if you've only got the option of only having one car but you want a sports car that you need to commute in, it's perfect. It does it fine. You see people doing these reviews of like 5 things I hate that's wrong with my car, I hate with it. Like literally nothing wrong with it. So we'll just have a quick look around the car. Obviously while it's sitting there in sunset orange and the paint's really popping in this beautiful blue morning. But yeah, so obviously we've got the comp wheels, 19-inch, 245s on the front, 265s on the back, but both 35 19s. So a slight offset on the width of the tyres. You can see, obviously it's still, like I said, absolutely stock. So we've got stock exhaust with the sort of ball bag, back box, however you want to call it. Like there's a few different names for it. The nutsack. Yeah, being a second-hand car, on the outside there's no sort of signs of previous owner modification. On the tyres we've got Michelin Pilot Super Sports, which yeah, really good. I haven't got any quarrels with them. We'll find out a bit more in winter what they're like, I guess, if they last that long. We've got a few mils of tread left, so yeah, should get us through this winter at least. But after that I'll be switching to Pilot Sports, as everyone does. I think probably the best tyre you can possibly get. One thing I do really like that I didn't actually know was a thing until I got the car was, obviously I knew the M-Driver profiles were a thing on the car. Yeah, so you get 2 keys with every car and you can set 2 different profiles up, 1 to each key. So if I'm driving it, I'll have this key. If I've got a friend or someone else who's driving it, they'll have the other key. And as soon as they get in the car, as soon as they press the unlock button, everything, mirrors, seats and everything automatically adjust to that driver position. I think obviously that's only a case if you've got the memory seats. As a car not just to buy but to go from sort of a smaller car as an upgrade car, obviously the channel was built around my Fiesta ST, so coming from a little hot hatch Fiesta ST to something like this, completely different. It's a massive step up in like terms of car capability and just the car in general. Like you've gone from Ford hot hatch power, ST power to M power, and I'd say for anyone really like my age or anyone in sort of that position where they want a bigger car, it's not a bad step up. It's not like sort of an equivalent, you're just moving brands. Like it is like on another level. That's how I describe it. It is on another level. Yeah, that's enough like sort of looking at the car. Let's go drive the thing. more, but they don't feel, obviously it's not as big of a car because it's the baby M car, but you know what I mean, like driving this doesn't feel like you're driving like a big wide car like an M4 does. It feels fat at the back, and it feels like you got to be a bit more cautious, but around town this seems a bit more normal sized, I think, like, if that makes sense. I don't, but it could just, but yeah, it's just nice. There's not a time where I haven't driven this car and gone, it needs softer suspension, or it needs to be a bit better here, or like the engine needs to be a bit better. Like, I've never really once found any issues with it. I think if you're probably driving it around town as well, if you've got everything in sort of maximum sportiness, sport plus, maximum attack, like the gear settings and the engine manual shift as well, going from a standing start in first gear to second gear around town can be a little bit jumpy. I think that's, but yeah, I think it's just one of them things again. Most sports cars are like that at low speeds. They can be a bit hard to drive around town when they're in sport mode. They don't really like it. Obviously, that gearbox is there to be driven hard, and it's expecting high RPMs and quick gear changes, not pooling around town. But I think that's obviously why you've got the normal efficient mode on there as well. So one of them things you just got to be aware of, I suppose. Yeah, this car never fails to like put a smile on my face around town or giving it the beans. Like I always prefer to drive it, although it's DCT, I like driving it in manual mode. So always using the flappy paddles. Sometimes I use the gear selector. It's not really a gear stick, is it? But yeah, I like the flappy paddles. I can get used to it. I wouldn't say I miss a manual. It's all personal preference, I suppose, at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, some people will be like, no, you can't have an M2 and not have the manual, it's not a proper driver's car or whatever. I think you can have just as much as a driver's experience in this as a manual. I think I can't really feel like, maybe on track, maybe you might want a manual for the full racing experience, but I mean, proper race cars don't have manuals nowadays, do they? So I think the whole perception of driver experience is sort of down to everyone's individuality and their own personal preference. So for me, this is a great driver's experience being a DCT. I mean, there's obviously things you get with a DCT that you can't get with a manual. You can't get launch control. Now, the chassis is that good, like the whole setup of the car, the driving capabilities of it are that good. Like, obviously, with that little flick back there that I did starting off, like, I'm no pro drifter. I didn't get mad angles, didn't go full lock, but it gives me enough confidence with the short time that I've had it, just to know what it's capable of, and I like feel confident enough just to do little bits like that here and there. I don't do it all the time. I don't go mad because I'm just not that person. I've got a bit of mechanical sympathy, and I don't want things to break, and I don't want to push me luck too far and end up in a ditch. But from time to time, like doing a little cheeky, like little send here and there, I'm fine with that, and I've got enough confidence to do it. And obviously I'm not going to be doing that in winter, I don't think, because it'll be easier in the winter, but it's also going to be a lot more slippier and more risk, I think. So, but yeah, like that's another thing, isn't it? Yeah, just I feel like I can just get in the car and just drive to my heart's content, and I know what it's going to do within reason, as long as I'm not on the ragged edge all the time. Only one downside I've got to this car, and it's not a bad one, it's just one of them things. It could do with a bit bigger of a fuel tank. I think the size of the fuel tank's only 50-55 litres, and obviously coupled up with that engine, when you're out for a morning drive, the range on the trip computer, I can see that obviously the range going down because I'm flooring it and having some fun, but you can actually see the needle on the fuel gauge as well. After a couple of minutes you really notice the needle start to drop, and that's like a bit I don't know, it might kick in the old range anxiety a little bit, bad. I think it's just more of a thing because you can see the needle going down. It makes you wonder a little bit, but on a run, it's not bad. Like I've had 32 miles to the gallon out of it, sitting on cruise control, 70 mile an hour, done 250, 300 miles to a tank, which is what the range says it will do when you fill it up. So for the size of the engine, the turbo and everything, and the power it's putting out, it's not too bad really, is it? This is a me problem. This nothing to do with the car. Now obviously, since it's a competition and not an OG M2, and EU emissions and everything, when the comp got released, they gave him more GPFs, gasoline particulate filters, which made the exhaust system quieter. Now I would like a little bit more noise, I reckon, like with the valves open at least. It's something that's easily, like, you can get around it very fine, like, but just as a stock car, when I'm on my own, that sounds nice. But when I'm out with a group of friends and they're all in their loud cars, it really like quietens this one out, and I'm a bit like, oh. But again, that's something I can get around, not a problem. If I want to take it to like somewhere, just tinker with the exhaust a little bit, or a catback system, it's something easily fixable. Yeah, so to sum the whole video up, really, there's nothing wrong with a car except maybe it could do with a bigger fuel tank, but I'm fine with stopping at a petrol station a little more often. It doesn't take that much time out of my day, so yeah, engine is brilliant, all-rounder, pretty economical if you want it to be, if you treat it right. Everything inside on the interior is amazing. The seats are comfy, suspension's not too harsh for around town driving. Dct Gearbox is a dream. And it goes. It's so predictable, but in a good way, not like predictable boring. Yeah, DCT is a gearbox to have, in my opinion. Well, again, it's personal preference what you want, so yeah. But I'm going to head off home because the Sunday drivers are coming out thick and fast and they're blocking up the roads. But yeah, more into content to come imminently, I guess. And there is another car I need to film, another car to the fleet in the family. So look out for that video soon. It's quite an interesting one because we have plans with it already. So yeah, stick around for that one. And I hope you enjoyed this video. So if you did, give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you don't already. And leave a comment in the comment section below on whether you'd have an M2, whether you'd ever consider it, whether you've had one previously, or whether you just like them in general, or if you don't like them, let us know why. Yeah, so for now I will leave you to it, and I will see you on the next one very soon.